Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome along to the final edition this week of Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, the ATP Tour Tennis Show, brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. I'm Nigel Seeley, and joining me is our ATP Tour senior handicapper. It's an informed Sean Calvert. Sean, good morning to you, sir. Well, afternoon.
Morning.
Sorry.
Yeah,
afternoon
I thought I
afternoon.
got a bit confused there. Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, how are you doing?
Well, I've got a new camera, and I'm rather red. I'm trying to work out the settings, and I don't understand what I'm doing here.
Do look a bit
I might
red
have
there.
I might have to revert back to the other camera. It seems to be moving in and out, but we'll have to see how we go with this.
I don't know. It does look a bit red to me, but that's just me.
I've just done 30 lengths of the swimming baths as well, so that may have helped as well.
That would have taken me about a month to do 30 lengths.
That's half a mile.
After 2 lengths, I'm absolutely shattered. I can't not tired, but I can't get my breath. I think my breathing's a bit dodgy when I do swimming. I think my technique's all wrong. But I definitely couldn't do 30 lengths, that's for sure.
30 lengths is just under half a mile. So I'm going to step it up next week, try to do 50. I'm trying to get fit. I'm on a big regime to get fit. I mean, I've decided to leave the Stellas and the hamburger diet and go for a little more healthy living. And I'm trying to get fit. That's not my plan.
I'm doing just a bit of jogging, a bit of running, that sort of thing. I'm no good at swimming. I'm either 100 mile an hour or zero. I can't swim at like a steady pace at all. Just never been able to do it.
I want to get back and play a football match. I haven't played a competitive football match for about 10 years, and I want to have a football game, and I want to show people that I was quite good.
That is going to hurt.
That's the target.
Whether it's the muscles afterwards, you're going to be aching for about a week after that.
I know. I wanted to join a tennis club as well, but it was extortionate money, and I thought to myself, would I use it in November, December?
That's the problem with British tennis, isn't it? Don't get me started on that.
Yeah. So I've decided to just go swimming at the moment, get fit, get the old cardio going in the gym, and then ready for the football match very soon. So that's the goal. How long it lasts, I don't know. It could last a week, could last 2 weeks. I'm not sure. But the idea is to get motivated. The lockdown, I was going to get motivated. I bought an exercise bike.
I was going to.
I was on it for a week and then thought, no, thank you.
You had about a year and a half of lockdown. You didn't manage to do it.
Well, the weather got good, didn't it? So I sat in the garden drinking beer rather than get on the bike. But the intention was there. My intentions are good. Yes. Whether I've got to keep it going, I don't know. Anyway, that's enough about the fitness regime. The Nigel Seeley DVD will be coming out. Fitness, getting fit and getting fit at 50. I can see that being
straight to bargain basements in every petrol station near.
It's going to be, look how bright the red face is after doing 30 lengths. My God, it's absolutely terrible. Hopefully these settings can calm it down, because I'll be stopping traffic if I look like this if I was really going down. Hopefully it's the settings. Okay, we've got 5 matches we're going to talk about tomorrow in Shanghai. But before we do that, Sean, we've got yesterday's show. You gave 2 picks, 1 winner and 1 loser so far, but a small profit because Fucsovics was a decent price in his match against Felix Auger-Aliassime. The problems continue for the Canadian. And we've got 1 more match now to determine whether it's a winning day or a losing day. And it's more or less just about to start as we're recording this.
Yeah.
Safiullin against Zverev. So we'll give you a little bit of an update on that as we go on. But I'm sure by the time this drops, we'll know our fate, whether Zverev wins and we lose money, or Safiullin wins and we cash 2 of our 3 picks. But anyway, it's been a great couple of weeks. We're now up to 17.18 units of profit here on the ATP Tour Show on Betting Weekly. So all good. And the Asian swing has been very, very profitable for us. Okay, let's try and keep that run going into the weekend and heading into next week. We've got 5 matches on the second round here in Shanghai. It's the round of 64, so 128-man tournament. The top 32 seeds got a bye through to round 2. So they're in action here today. And also through to the last 32 is our pick, Umber 80-1, and also our last Hercash is through to the last 64 for Umber and last 32 for Hercash. Anyway, let's move on. We've got 5 matches. I'm going to start off with an interesting match between Nicolas Jarry, a proven player. They're not quite sure whether this is going to be his surface or not. I'm not wait to hear what you have to say about that. He's up against a very talented young Frenchman in Terence Atman. Nicolas Jarry is minus 265 for the win here. Atman is plus 205, but he comes with a bit of a reputation there, Atman. A lot of people are talking him up as a player who's going to be a very talented player. He's only 21 years of age. He's new on tour. I don't really know much about him. I've heard you speak about him before, Sean. I know you're quite keen on what you see here. Jarry obviously is the proven player, the highest seed, the player with all the experience, and the heavy favourite minus 265. I'm going to give you some props after you break this down for us here.
Yeah, just quickly before I go into this, I think we need to talk about the conditions because
Oh, sorry.
no, it's all right. It's just the fact that the weather looks quite moody tomorrow. It's going to be really windy all day. Could be 30-kilometer-mile-an-hour winds. According to the forecast, it's supposed to be 30 kilometers an hour winds pretty much all day, and there's a fair chance of rain as well coming in later on in the afternoon. But the early matches should be okay. But it just depends whether that rain hits. But even if the rain doesn't hit, it's going to be really windy. So, you might get some peculiar scores. It's just something to bear in mind because I'm never keen on going big on a day where there's a very, very lot of wind in the forecast. It sometimes makes some strange outcomes. But just on this match, actually, Atman, he does have the sort of game that can cause problems for Jarry in quick conditions. He reminds me a lot of Hugo Humbert, actually, in the way he plays. Very aggressive, very sort of really aggressive, actually, very, very hit and miss. He's one of the most aggressive players I've ever seen. Left-hander, very much the same as Humbert, even more aggressive than Humbert, maybe. And Humbert beat Jarry very comfortably in the end when they met on a hard court in Toronto a few months ago, winning 22% more second serve points that day. But he only converted 3 out of 13 break chances. That was a windy day as well, actually. If you can move Jarry around with power and pace, make him hit on the run. Don't let Jarry just stand there and hit. You got to move him around, and that's what Humbert did really well. And on a quick court, Atman can do a very, very similar job. He is very hit and miss, I should say. His good sets are brilliant. His bad sets, not so good. But I don't think the wind will help the Nicolas Jarry serve either. So I think there's quite a lot of reasons to be optimistic about Atman's chances here. He's shown what he can do at main level. I've said before he's had a great season at challenger level. He came out and bageled Nishioka in the opening set in quick conditions in Zhuhai, and then he ran out of legs because he played a lot of tennis the previous few weeks. Atman's been on the Chinese swing for a while because he's playing challengers in China before these main level tournaments. And he started well at most of his last recent matches. He's won 13 of his last 15 opening sets as Atman, and he's playing his 4th match here because he had to come through qualifying. So I think there's a lot of things to like about Atman. I'm not sure he can I'm not totally convinced that he can keep it up for the whole 3 sets if he needed to. But I think on the matchup and in the conditions, I think he's got a reasonable chance. I've actually taken him to win the first set here at 2.63 Bet Rivers. I think he's shown that he's a fast starter, and it's a prop that I like rather than to win the match. But either or is good.
Yeah, Atman is plus 163 to win set number 1 here against Nicolas Jarry. If you're looking at the total, it's 23.5. Usually with Jarry matches, you never get anything lower than 23.5, always around about 24.5, 25.5. Total games won by Atman is over 11.5 at minus 152. And the spread here is game spread is 3.5 at Atman. Receiving 3.5 minus 177. Nicolas Jarry giving up 3.5 is minus 135. And you can go 2.5 as well there, which is a little bit more in favor for you if you want to take Atman here. But Sean thinks that Atman, the young, talented French player, is going to give Nicolas Jarry all kinds of problems here in very testing conditions. So Atman, a name for the future and a name for tomorrow. But we're not going to go for him to win. We're going to go for him to do well in the first set and take that first set at plus 163. A man for the future and a man for now, and a man who's number 2 in the world, but he's the number 1 seed here in the absence of world number 1, Novak Djokovic. And that's Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz takes on Gregor Barrere, a player who made us some money in round 1. He got a good win for us. This match starts at 6:30 a.m. I've just got to tell you the Atman match starts a lot earlier than that. It's around about 12:30 a.m. So that's in the sort of hot conditions, whereas this one is a night match, so it's a little bit cooler, which should suit Alcaraz. Alcaraz is a heavy favourite. It's minus 3,335. So if you're new to betting, what that means is you've got to put $3,335 on him to win $100. Bit of a risk, really. And Gregor Barrere is plus 1,300 for the win. The spread here is 6.5. Alcaraz giving up 6.5 is plus 110. Barrere receiving 6.5 is minus 141. And the total was pitched at 18.5. The timing of this match probably would suit Alcaraz, but like you say, the conditions are going to be quite testing. The pair have never met before, so he doesn't really know what he's playing. And Barrere's in decent form. Do you see Barrere giving Alcaraz any problems, or is it going to be pretty much plain sailing for the world number 2?
I think Alcaraz will probably win, but these total games lines, they're very, very low, even for someone of Alcaraz's ability. I wonder how he's going to shape up here after what he did in Beijing last week against Sinner, which wasn't good at all. I mean, he had that strapping on his left thigh. Is he fit? Is he not fit? We don't know. He's played 69 matches already in 2023 as Carlos Alcaraz. He only played 70 in the whole season last year. So whatever happens, he's going to be playing more tennis this year than he has before. And you got to remember, he's still only 20. You sort of forget that he's that young, don't you? You kind of feel like he's been around for a long, long time. But, his body's still only 20 years old. He's playing an awful lot of tennis, big time tennis. It does take its toll. He's never played this tournament before. It is on the quicker side, which, are all sort of negatives for me for Alcaraz. I talked last week, didn't I, about his record of going over the total games in his opening match of best of 3-set tournaments. And he did it again last week, didn't he? More often than not, he's gone over 18.5 games, which is the line today. He did that exact same thing last week. He went 19 games against Yannick Hanfmann. So you would certainly think that Barrere, on a quick hard court, is a better player than Hanfmann. And Barrere's done well against the best opposition that he's played in his career, against top 10 opponents that Barrere's played. He's been very much in all of them, really. He lost in the final set tiebreak to Tsitsipas on grass in Halle. He lost in 2 tiebreaks to Holger Rune indoors in Montpellier. And in slower conditions, which don't really suit him, he lost 6-4, 6-3 to Felix in Rotterdam. So he's not been disgraced by any means against the best opposition that he's ever played. We know he likes the quick conditions. The negative for me is, as you said, there is the night match. It's not. I don't think that's particularly helpful for Barrere. But the lean here, it's got to be over 18.5 total games. It's cashed more often than not, as I say, in Alcaraz matches in the opening round of best of 3 matches. That's a -106 chance for Bet Rivers.
Yeah, 18.5 is such a low number. I always like playing 18.5, especially matches like this where Barrere is a good server, big server, and Alcaraz, it's quick, but it's going to be it's still going to be a slowest conditions, but it's still a quick court. So 18.5 there, I see very little downside to play the over 18.5. So Alcaraz, Barrere, the lean there is over 18.5, but we expect the number 2 seed to comfortably come through. But he's not going to get beat, but we expect him to come through there. But the 18.5 is definitely of interest to us. Next match is we have some form on this one. Francis Tiafoe up against Lorenzo Sonego. These two have met 3 times before. They've met this year in Miami. Sonego won very easy 6-3, 6-4, and a surprise win, really. In 2022, last year, they went on the Davis Cup. Sonego won that as well. And in the Paris Masters last year, Tiafoe won his only victory of the 3, 6-4, 6-4 against Sonego. If you look at the betting here, though, it is a heavy favourite for Francis Tiafoe. Tiafoe's had a very, very good year, but he's coming here not in the best of form since he got beat in the quarterfinal of the US Open by Ben Shelton, and he got beat in 2 shock matches in the Davis Cup, and then he did beat Hurkacz at the Laver Cup, but really don't really read much into that. Lorenzo Sonego as well, he's come through. He got beaten Humbert in the first round in Beijing, but he had a decent win here in Shanghai in round 1. And they look quite good. I know the opponent, Segulik, wasn't the greatest of opponents, but he did what he had to do, and he won quite impressively here. Lorenzo Sonego is +155. Francis Tiafoe is -195. The props on this one, let's go to find them for you here. This match starts at 1:50 a.m. and the spread is 2.5. Tiafoe giving up 2.5, -112. Lorenzo Sonego receiving 2.5 is -114. And the total is 22.5. 29 different markets available with Bet Rivers on this match. And if you do place a wager on the match, you'll be able to watch it live streamed on your tablet or your computer or your mobile device from the comfort of your own home. Tiafoe could be one that we could say, well, he's had a long year, ready to sort of give a little bit of rest up and go again for the Australian Open.
Yeah, I couldn't back him at this price. Getting on for -$2. Not for me in a matchup that he's not had the best of by any means. Is he in a great state of mind after what happened at the US Open, where he basically admitted that he'd bottled it against Shelton as favourite, admitted that he couldn't handle the pressure of being the favourite to win that match. Then, as you said, not so good in Davis Cup. Comes here, now he's got to play a guy who's struggled against. The head-to-head, the overall stats of the head-to-head, the 3 matches, they're dead level in terms of service points won and return points won totals, both guys on 100. So nothing really to split them. TFO's held serve 90% of the time, and Sonego's held serve 93% of the time in this matchup. But strangely, 5 of the 6 sets that they have contested haven't been a tiebreak. They've ended either 6-3 or 6-4. Only 1 tiebreak out of 6 sets, which is quite surprising considering they've held that often, and both of them have only won 28% of return points, which is very, very low. So I think there's tie breaks coming between these two that probably should have played more than the one they've played so far. I definitely couldn't back TFO at that price. There's nothing. There's no upside to that. It's not a good price at all on this matchup against an opponent he hasn't dominated by any means. He hasn't been able to really get his nose in front in this matchup at all. So, given it's a quick conditions, given those stats that are very, very serve dominated between these two, you're getting slight plus money about a tie break played in this match at BetRivers 2.1 plus 110 about a tie break. Look, that looks like the lean in that match. Yes, just a not a good price on the TFO for me. This.
Yeah, so that's one of the bets on the 29 prop bets available with BetRivers. Tiebreak be played in the Francis Tiafoe Lorenzo Sonego match. Francis Tiafoe, a vulnerable favourite, we think, here at minus 195. He can get the job done, and we think he probably will win, but we wouldn't be betting him at that kind of price. Another favourite that looks a bit flaky to me is Cam Norrie, the Brit. He's minus $2. He opens proceedings at 12:30 a.m. Eastern time. The first match on court up against the American JJ Wolf. Again, this is going to be quick conditions here, which may not suit Cam Norrie. The spread is 2.5. Wolf starting with 2.5 is minus 105, and Norrie giving up 2.5 is minus 122. The total here is 22.5. If we look at Cam Norrie's form in recent weeks, it's pretty atrocious, really. Absolutely dreadful in the Davis Cup. He was beat by Arnaldi at the US Open. He beat Polmans in Zhuhai. And then he got beat by Karatsev in the quarterfinals, and then he got beat by Rublev in Beijing in the first round last week. Wolf has already come through a tricky little match. Kachin in the first round here didn't play that great, but he got through, got the job done, and he also got beat by Arnaldi, the person who beat Norrie at the US Open in the first round of Beijing. Cam Norrie, I mean, I think he was a player that I was amazed that he was a top 10 player in the world. I was amazed that he reached the semi-finals of Wimbledon. I thought he was punching way better than what his capabilities were. And as it sort of found his out now, or is he just hitting a bit of a blip and will bounce back next year? But I don't know. But Jeff Wolf here does look a little bit of value at plus 160.
Yeah, I've taken Wolf here. Took him at 2.75 earlier on. I think he's a 2.6 plus 160 chance now with BetRivers. I think is possibly the odds on that. Just in these conditions, and against a Norrie that's in, as you've said, awful form, you have to like Wolf's chances if he plays his best game. Let's just take a look at what Cam Norrie's done recently. Last 3 months, stats at main level. I've also included Davis Cup as well. Norrie's 3-8 win-loss, and his service points won, return points won total is 99. Wolf, in the same time periods, much better win rate, 50% win rate, 6-6 win-loss, and his total is 100. So in the last 3 months, Wolf playing the better tennis, and Wolf's not been in fabulous form in the last sort of few weeks in particular, but he's still doing better than Norrie. Since Queen's Club, Cam Norrie's only beaten players that are ranked between 83 and 237 in the world. They're the only players he's managed to beat. He's lost 12 of his last 14 matches against top 50 opponents. Wolf is ranked 51. So it's difficult to be confident about Cam Norrie, isn't it? Particularly in quick conditions. He tends to like a really bouncy, slow, hard court, like a sort of Indian Wells type court. This is anything but that. And if you look at what Jeff Wolf's done in quicker conditions this season, semi-final in Dallas, where it was really quick, should have made the final there, managed to sort of blow his chances against John Isner in the semis there, but it was really quick there. Quarterfinalist on the grass in Eastbourne, even though he's not particularly experienced on the grass. Semi-finals in Atlanta, where it was really quick, and quarterfinals in Washington, D.C. So similarly to the Barrere bet that we had the other day, this is the right conditions, I feel, for Jeff Wolf, and not the right conditions for Cam Norrie. Wolf's obviously already had that one match under his belt already, 3 sets against Kachin. There's not a lot going for Norrie for me at these odds, so taking Jeff Wolf here to win this match.
Yeah, I like that. Plus 160 for JJ Wolf. First match on court, 12:30 a.m. Eastern time. So head to the Bet Rivers website. Make sure you take that price, plus 160. I think the money will come for the American in the final match, in the first match of the evening. Remember, all these matches we're talking about here are the early hours of Saturday morning. So they start just gone midnight Eastern time and run through all the way through to about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning when you wake up. So all the way through the night, you can have a bet and you can watch it on your mobile device. The final match is actually probably the one that I think will be the most entertaining one to watch, actually. Arthur Fields, the young Frenchman. A lot of young, talented French players coming through at the moment. We've spoken about 3 of them here already. He's up against Alessandro Davidovich Fokina. They've met twice before. Davidovich Fokina has won them both. He won at Wimbledon this year, very easy, 7-6, 6-1, 6-2. And he also won at the French Open. But I think at Wimbledon this year, wasn't it the week before Phil's won in Lyon? Did he win in Lyon the week before Wimbledon?
That was the week before the French Open.
The French Open. So the French Open match they played, and
he was knackered. Yeah,
he was absolutely shattered, and Davidovich Fokina won that as well, but in 4 sets. But that was before he won in Lyon. So that may be a little bit reason why the talented Frenchman didn't perform. These are 2 great players on their day. Davidovich Fokina obviously is the favourite because he's the seedier player and he's got the better caliber and better he's got the more proven CV. But he's a well overwhelming favourite on the spread here. 3.5 he has to give up. He's plus 115. Arthur Fields plus 3.5 is minus 148, and the total is 22.5. I think this will be a good one if you want to watch this one. If you're watching a game, I think if I was choosing one to watch, I think I'd be waiting up till what is it? This is 12:35, another early start. But I think I'd wait up to just gone midnight, watch this one and enjoy it.
Yeah, it should be a cracking match. This, as you said, Fils was fatigued when they met at the French Open. It was only 2 days after he won the title in Lyon, and it was a long old scrap as well. Lyon, I think that the final was a really long match as well. So clearly fatigued when he faced Davidovich and still won a set. He also had injury problems when they met at Wimbledon. He'd had I can't remember what it was, some sort of leg injury I think he'd had at the early stages of the grass season. He's not experienced on grass anyway, Fils. So I think this head-to-head is a little bit misleading. I think Fils is going to be more competitive this time. Played really well against Kotov in round 1. And there isn't much between the two of them really on the 2023 stats at main level on all surfaces. Exactly the same win rate, 56%. Slight edge to Davidovich Fokina in terms of service points won and return points won. 102 total for him, 100 for Fils. So a bit of an advantage for Davidovich. That's why he's favourite, but I think he's a little bit short. Fils obviously has the advantage of having played several matches here already, through qualies. I don't think Davidovich could have asked for a much tougher first match in this tournament than this one. He certainly could have had an awful lot of easier matches than this. You never really know with Davidovich, do you? He started great, didn't he, last week against Zverev? Started brilliant, should have won that first set against Zverev, and then he barely won a game after that. He just completely collapsed, which he does tend to do. But for me, I think over 22.5 games, it feels like the right bet. I could even go over sets. I could see this one going the full distance. Over 22.5 is minus 110 chance of Bet Rivers.
Yep, over 22.5. Arthur Fields against Alessandro Davidovich Fokina. It's the first match on court. I'm not quite sure if it's centre court, but there's about 3 games starting at 12:30, but you'll be able to watch them all on the Bet Rivers website, no matter what court it is. Hey, place a bet and enjoy the match. This one promises to be a classic. Just a little bit of an update here from Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. We'll be back next week looking ahead to this tournament. It progresses into the latter state in the middle of next week. Obviously, the timings are different. And then from the following week, we'll be back to normal on a Sunday. We'll be previewing the tournament in Antwerp and in Stockholm. And Sean will be in attendance at the European Open over in Antwerp. Looking forward to getting away again, Sean.
Yeah, it's another city that I've never been to. Antwerp. I've been to Brussels a couple of times, but never been to Antwerp. So yeah, always keen to see a new city and a new tournament. Yeah, for sure.
And obviously you can follow Sean's adventures over in Antwerp and all the content available on our socials at Because We Win on Twitter and also on Instagram. And remember, you have to download this podcast, please, if you could do. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's a tennis betting podcast, and we want to go up higher on those podcast charts if we possibly can. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is getting a great amount of support on our YouTube channel, Betting Weekly Studios. We got all the shows on the tennis as well as the soccer and the cricket. It's the Cricket World Cup currently, and we have 2 handicappers, Ed Hawkins and John Wright, who are probably the best cricket brains in the world, and they are on. Very lucky to have them on the channel, and they're giving you their advice on the Cricket World Cup. So all the cricket content, all the soccer content, and obviously all the tennis content is available on the YouTube channel. Sean, before I let you go, to give us a quick recap of what your bets are for this weekend.
Yeah, Jeff Wolf to beat Cam Norrie. That's a 2.6 plus 160 chance with Bet Rivers. And the other one was Terence Atman to win the opening set against Nicholas Jarry, which is a plus 163 chance with Bet Rivers.
So they are our official picks. Just to let you know, Roman Safiullin is 4-2 up with a break against Alexander Zverev and is currently trading minus 129. We took him at plus
there you go.
205. So let's hope we can cash that one and end what has been another brilliant week here of tennis tipping from Sean Calvert on Big Game Bet Match. Sean, anything planned for the weekend?
The usual, watching my boy play football training on Saturday, watching him play a match on Sunday, trying to get some sort of down. It's supposed to be really nice weather this weekend. It's supposed to be about 25 degrees tomorrow.
It's very nice.
Maybe a bit of
redder in at the moment.
Yeah, maybe a bit of late summer sunbathing is in order. That's just relaxing really, and then obviously watching the matches in Shanghai and getting ready for next week. Hopefully cheering on Hercash, who I think has got a decent chance now with the draw.
Yeah, draws opened up for Hercash, and obviously Humbert as well is in action tomorrow. He's our 80-1 pick as well. We haven't touched his match there, but he's in action tomorrow, so check out his chances as well. For me, I'm going to see an Elton John tribute act tomorrow night.
Anyway, of course you are.
Yeah, an Elton John tribute act, so that should be quite good.
Is that the same place he saw the Tina Turner tribute?
Yes. And 3 days later, what happens to Tina Turner? So Elton John, you're banging trouble.
Watch it, Sir Elton.
Sean, have a great weekend. Take care. Good luck with your bets, everybody. And that has been this latest edition of Game Bet Match for this week. We're back next week and hopefully cashing more tickets. Take care.